What's up? So, I've decided to start making some videos about numerology. It's something I feel that I understand fairly well. And, there's a way that I do it that I wouldn't say no one does it. It's, like I like to draw the numbers, and I feel like that really helps me understand what it's about. So, yeah, this is the number one, this video. Okay, so the number one is a circle. This is the first one I drew. My favorite way to draw a circle is to go around a lot, because I feel like it gets more evened out. This is actually kind of not that symmetrical though. I feel like it's kind of because I draw on rectangle paper. I like that one a little more. Anyway, so it's like with drawing numbers, it's like one line, or if it's a number one, it's one line, or it could also be one point, like this. Yeah. It's also like worth noting, I guess, that a circle is also a single point. If it's drawn with a single line, it's... Anyway. I think the number one is really important. I think that all is one and one is all. And I think that every number is the number one. Any number besides one is the number one divided by that number, and it's also multiplied by that number. Like it's like an inverse thing. It goes both ways. Multiplied and divided. The number one is really simple. That's why it's important. It symbolizes unity and how everything is the same. Like, we're all the same. We can choose to see ourselves as, like, a lot of people, though, like many people. We can choose to see ourselves as individuals who are separated. Or we can choose to see ourselves as one. And we all have that choice because we're all the same power. We're all equal. It's a completely subjective choice. And I like to think that deep down we all do choose to be the same. We choose to be one. We choose unity. One way that I see this demonstrated is like when people talk about laws and society and justice and like what's fair, or like the way to do things, like how to share things, or like how people have rights and whatever. A lot of times it's like we assume without like discussing it in depth, we assume that like, you know, what works for one person will work for everyone. We assume that like, you know, what one person deserves, the rest of us deserve. It's not like, I mean, this doesn't always happen. It happens a lot though. Like most of the time, if like it was like a party or whatever and there was cake, or like someone orders a pizza, it's not going to be like one person's in the room is going to stand up and be like, okay, well, remember everyone, like I'm twice as important as everyone here, so make sure that you save twice as much for me. Or like, you know, people will be like, okay, so this person like says, they're all talking about how this person did this or whatever, and then they turn around and did the same thing, so they're a hypocrite. It's like, you know, why are we assuming that everyone is gonna follow the same rules? We do though, a lot. Or like how in medicine, this, or like nutrition or whatever, people will be like, you know, this is like the 2,000 calorie diet. This is how much protein and fat and fiber and carbs and like vitamins or whatever. This is how much a person needs in one day. Like, and I mean, it's useful a lot of the time. We do kind of live, I mean, it's a choice though. Everyone has a choice. I was about to say we do live in a world where we're all individuals. We all are unique. We're also all the same though. That's the paradox. Okay, there's one more thing about the number one. Or maybe an infinite amount of things about the number one. There's... Hold on a sec, though. So in this version of the number one is kind of becoming the number two. And I kind of see this as a representation of creation, like the very beginning. At one point, all was like completely, literally one, and one was all. It wasn't like something anyone had to sit and think about. Like, there wasn't even a word for one and all. I don't know if there were even words. So the story goes, in the beginning it was one single thing. And I've also heard that before that there was nothing. Maybe. It's something I think about. I'm not going to absolutely endorse these stories. I like to think about it though. In the beginning is one thing. And there was consciousness, thus the existence of the one. So at some point, this one conceived of, what if there was more than one? What if there was variety or multiplicity? What if there was more than this? And in that moment was created, the first step towards all the variety or infinity, the universe in the sense of like an expanding universe with a whole lot of stars and a whole lot of people. In that moment was created this thing, and there was polarity immediately. That was the very beginning, was the division of the number one into the number two, because at first it's like it was, the one was of a split mind. The idea of manyness was fascinating, and also it was repulsive. It was attractive, and it was also like something undesirable at the same time, because to be many things would be more difficult to know oneself if there was lots of selves. That's how I imagine it. And it kind of split into two groups: the group that felt like staying the same, and the group, or the part of the one that felt like, what is this new thing? Like, let's explore it. This is exciting. So, like right now, this is kind of how I imagine the universe to be structured. I think there is at the center still part of us that was always there. Maybe part of us that was there and like went outwards and then has returned. There's a center though. There is a center, I think. And there's also the outside part. In a way, though, the second that we choose to be one with all, we return to the center, even if we're physically like living somewhere distant from like the gravitational center. It's like we are spiritually, we're there, we're back at the beginning. So the first kind of polarity is like the number one, like the inside and the outside, like the center of gravity, and then the part that's like pushing away or pulling away from that. It's really a belief, I guess, to choose which part we're at, or maybe it's a mood even. How do I feel right now? Do I feel like being one with all, or do I feel like being kind of like isolated and unique and an individual? Do I feel like doing something new wherein there are risks where there is risk and there is, there could possibly be confusion and illusion. Maybe like I could even feel like I'm lost, not know what to do. Maybe I could not even know who I am because there's parts of me that are spread all over all over creation. Or am I like what's obvious, the most simple, basic thing that could ever possibly be? Could I be content with that? That's the choice, basically. Okay, so the number one.